When I tried to be the writer and director at the same time, it was much harder because I was constantly worrying about two different things. I first had the idea for this movie probably 4 or 5 years ago. It started from a place of love of film noir and crime cinema, and I knew I wanted to do something in that genre. I was driving by a hotel, and my wife said, "Oh, you should just set something at a hotel like that." And the title popped in my head, "Bad Times at the El Royale." And I would say that was five years ago. It was like lightning struck. I was thinking about this movie when I was working on The Martian, and in many ways it's the opposite of The Martian. The Martian is about planets and galaxies and one person. This is about one room and lots of characters in one room. Well, I tend to think about the plot for years, so that when I go to write, I only can worry about the characters, and it becomes about the dialogue. But it took a few years, quite honestly. When it was time to go, I went and locked myself in a hotel and just wrote, 13, 14 hours a day till it was done. That's very much my process. The hardest part about the story was staying true to the characters. Not to ruin things, but there's a couple big surprises in the movie. And the reason those surprises happened was because I had to listen to what the characters would actually do in those situations. Anytime a character does something surprising, it is because when I was writing, I would do the other thing. I would do whatever the normal movie would do. And when I would be in the scene, I would think, that's not what that character would do. That character would pull the trigger. That character would swing the bottle. Anytime that happened, I said, well, let's just trust the characters. Let's be honest to what the characters would do. And that led to some of the best moments in the movie. When I write, I tend to only think about the characters. It helps me in my process to just focus as a writer. Then as soon as I finish the script, I become the director and start thinking about, okay, who should play this? And the second I typed the end, I then thought, oh, Jeff Bridges, he would be my #1 choice, and sent the script to him right away. And thankfully he said yes.
This is not a place for a priest, Father. You shouldn't be here.
Halfway through shooting my first movie, I realized I need to only be the director now. And it made it much easier. It made it more fun. Because as a director, your job is to support and protect and nurture other artists. As a writer, your job is to only just be an artist. That's your job. And so as a director, you get to play around in lots of people's art. It's much more fun to me to separate the two. This movie is very much about 7 people, so it was crucial that we have a comfort level with each other. Not just so that everyone knew their dialogue, but more so that they knew each other. And so I got everyone together in a house and just said, let's get to know each other. And in those 2 weeks, the movie really came alive. Because when you watch the last half of the movie, for instance, these actors are going through some extraordinary emotional changes. That was only possible because they were able to take care of each other. They were able to be there for one another, and that only comes through time and rehearsal.